Just a few weeks ago, Max Verstappen admitted he didn't believe he could win another race this season. But in the 3 Grand Prix since, he's silenced the doubters with 2 dominant victories in Monza and Baku, bringing whispers of a late-season title fight back into play. Now the conversation has shifted. Is Verstappen, against all odds, ready to challenge the McLaren duo of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris for the 2025 crown? The answer, however, isn't as simple as pointing to recent results. Red Bull's sudden resurgence has been powered by a crucial RB21 upgrade that not only unlocked raw pace, but also reshaped the balance of the car. Yet as strong as they've looked on low-downforce circuits, Singapore presents an entirely different battlefield, one that has historically punished Red Bull's weaknesses. That's why this video is so important, because Singapore isn't just another race. It's the ultimate benchmark. If you want to understand whether Verstappen can truly disrupt McLaren's championship dream, make sure you hit subscribe now, because this is where the 2025 season could change forever. Red Bull's 2025 season has been nothing short of a roller coaster. From the crushing disappointment of Hungary, where Max Verstappen looked powerless against the might of McLaren, to the stunning turnaround in Monza and Baku, the RB21 has suddenly risen from the ashes like a machine reborn. But the big question is this: is Red Bull's resurgence real? Or is it an illusion that will be shattered under the bright lights of Singapore? To understand the stakes, we need to rewind to Budapest. The Hungaroring exposed every weakness in Red Bull's car. Verstappen was left helpless as McLaren surged ahead, with the RB21 losing more than a second per lap, 1.09 seconds to be exact, compared to Oscar Piastri's pace. That kind of deficit wasn't just bad. It was catastrophic. For a 4-time world champion and a team that dominated the sport only a few seasons ago, it was a humbling moment. The narrative that followed was simple. McLaren had cracked the code of 2025 and Red Bull was finished. Even Verstappen himself admitted after Hungary that he didn't see himself winning again this year. And yet, racing has a way of flipping narratives on their head. When Red Bull unveiled their upgraded floor at Monza, suddenly everything changed. Helmut Marko was quick to highlight the impact. It wasn't just about adding raw pace, it was about unlocking balance. The RB21's biggest problem all season had been its narrow operating window. The car was either brilliant or broken, depending on conditions. But with the new floor, Verstappen found himself with a more forgiving machine, one that could actually breathe in different scenarios. The result? A commanding win at Monza. Skeptics, of course, argued it was track-specific. After all, Monza is unique, a low-downforce, high-speed circuit. Maybe the upgrade was just a lucky strike. But then came Baku, a street circuit with its own quirks, slow corners, yet still low downforce. And once again, Verstappen delivered. The Dutchman wasn't just competitive, he was dominant. The data showed him as the fastest man on track, comfortably ahead of George Russell in the Mercedes, with McLaren stuck in traffic and unable to show their true pace. What makes this so fascinating isn't just the numbers, but the philosophy behind Red Bull's revival. According to team insiders, they've changed their entire approach. For much of the season, Red Bull had become over-reliant on data models, chasing perfection on the computer rather than trusting the man in the cockpit. Verstappen, however, thrives on feel. He senses what the car is doing and how it should respond. Now, the engineers are listening more to his instincts, making subtle adjustments to match his feedback. It sounds simple, but in Formula One, this alignment between driver and machine can be the difference between mediocrity and victory. Still, no one at Red Bull is celebrating yet, because looming on the horizon is Singapore. And Singapore is different. The Marina Bay circuit is a high downforce, high degradation, brutally hot street track that exposes weaknesses like few others. It's physically demanding on drivers and mechanically demanding on cars. In Singapore, tyre management is everything. The relentless stop-start nature of the track, combined with high humidity and heat, punishes any car that overheats its tyres. McLaren, by contrast, excels here. Their car is kinder on tyres, and both Norris and Piastri have shown they can manage pace without sacrificing performance. That's why Andrea Stella has been so cautious. He openly acknowledged that Budapest cannot be forgotten, because it's the closest comparison to Singapore. In Hungary, the RB21 looked lost. If those problems resurface, then Verstappen will be fighting for scraps, while McLaren continues its march towards glory. Stella has suggested the team has unlocked performance since then, but the truth is, No one knows whether it will be enough. And then there's the psychological angle. Zak Brown, McLaren's outspoken CEO, recently called Verstappen a disruptor. He's not wrong. Even 69 points behind Piastri, Verstappen is still dangerous, because every time he wins, he doesn't just add to his own tally, he takes points away from McLaren. And with Norris and Piastri separated by just 25 points, Verstappen's victories could end up being the deciding factor in their internal battle. Imagine the chaos if McLaren's drivers lose focus on each other because they're forced to deal with Verstappen barging back into contention. In that sense, Red Bull doesn't need to win the title outright to play kingmaker. They just need to keep Verstappen in the mix. From a strategic standpoint, Singapore could decide more than just one race. It could reshape the championship narrative entirely. If Verstappen wins here, suddenly the impossible doesn't look so impossible anymore. Back-to-back wins on low-downforce tracks could be dismissed as flukes, but if Red Bull can conquer a high-downforce furnace like Singapore, then McLaren will be forced to admit they're in a fight. But if Verstappen falters, if the RB21 melts under the lights, then Monza and Baku will be remembered as isolated sparks in an otherwise fading season. It's also worth noting that Verstappen himself is entering this weekend with nothing to lose. Piastri and Norris are locked in a tense intra-team battle, every mistake potentially fatal to their championship hopes. Verstappen, meanwhile, is free to attack. He knows the odds are stacked against him, but that makes him even more dangerous. A man who believes he has nothing left to lose is often the one who takes the biggest risks, and sometimes those risks pay off. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Max Verstappen about to turn the 2025 season into a three-way war for the title? Or will Singapore crush Red Bull's momentum once and for all? Let me know what you think. Will Verstappen disrupt McLaren's dominance? Or is this just the calm before another storm from Piastri and Norris? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss the latest and most exciting Formula One stories right here on this channel.